Oh, freaking egg! My god, thanks guys for the immediate
Queen is back.
jump
Sparkles
scare.
emoji.
God, freaking egg! Hi! Holy shit! God damn it! Oh my god! Thank you for absolutely scaring the absolute crap out of me. Thank you. Much appreciated. Oh. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello. It's been a long time. God. I don't know what to say. This is weird. This is weird being here again. It really is. I don't need chat over there. I need chat in front of my face. Because, there we go. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello, hello. This is weird. This is really, really weird. I don't know how to explain it. We were getting ready to stream last week, the week before. I don't know now. I was capable of streaming not too long ago. What happened is that I, of course, because I had to make things worse on myself, decided to get sick. Well, I don't know if it was a cold, if it was a flu, or what it. I'm still trying to get over it. I still have, like, mucus and all that, but other than that, I'm completely fine. But it was like, really? Of all times? All times to get sick? That's when, body? Bad body. I don't know if I picked it up from the hospital or what. But hi, everybody. Guess what? I'm somewhat back. It's the best way to kind of explain it. It's just weird. This is really weird. Like, I don't know how to explain other than the fact that I was ready. Then when I got sick, I was so sad. It crushed me. It really crushed me when I got sick. I was just like, I was doing so good. I was healing so well. I was able to get up and go walk around without much pain. And I was gonna stream. And then now I'm back. It was like, I will tell you, about maybe an hour before stream, in my head, and even now I'm still thinking like, oh god, what if I can't do this anymore? What if it's not entertaining enough? What if I don't got it? What if I don't know why. I really don't know why. I was having this like anxiousness, and I was, especially like when I got to my computer and turning everything on, my computer froze like 5 or 6 times, and I was like, of course it does. Of course this thing does freeze. It was a really weird feeling of just complete self-doubt just rained upon me, and I was like, But hey, we're here, and we're somewhat back, and by that I mean I have a lot to go over and a lot to talk about. Hi, how's everybody? Where do I start this from? Thank you. God damn it. No!
Hi, Bear.
Thank you. Now you put me in that corner. Can I go back? No, it's the wrong one. Go back, please. There we go. Yeah, hi, hello, welcome, SOS, Narco, Fin, Jinx, Lord, Limited. I know how to still read. It's been a while, but I can still read. Anyways, though, I have a few things to kind of go over of how stuff is kind of gonna go. Don't expect this stream to be 3 hours long. I'm actually already kind of feeling a little tired. I just think I haven't really done something like this in a minute. But I will say, don't worry, I'm doing really good, alright? If you don't know what I had technically hip surgery. I have hip dysplasia on both sides, so I had to get that kind of corrected without having to get a hip replacement. So basically what they did is they cut my pelvis bone. Literally, cut it like 2 times. And I have pins now in that spot. And also, apparently, I didn't know, but I was telling a doctor, I was like, doctor, I hurt in this, like, specific spot with a very sharp pain. What is that? It's like, oh, you know how I said we don't cut muscle? I was like, yeah. It's like, well, what we do is we peel it. What? Yeah, I peel that muscle back so I can get to your bone, and then afterwards, I stitch it. Oh! As somebody who has a fear of things that are foreign objects inside of oneself, that didn't sit well with me. But other than that, I have been doing great. I still can't bear full weight, so I have to use a walker. I'm an old lady. You can hear it next to me. Like, it's so weird. I've become so reliant on this thing. When I don't see it in my vision, I panic. I'm like, I can't. Where is it? I can't get up. But yeah, does it feel during surgery? During surgery, look. All right, this is what happened. I am afraid of needles, right? So they go to stick the IV in me. So they stuck it in. It did well. Then anesthesiologist came over and she's like, all right, you got any known symptoms for general anesthesia? And I was like, no, other than I just sleep for a very long time, but it's fine. I was like, oh, okay. And then, well, I did well, but literally, I remember they put me into the OR, basically where they do the surgery, and they were moving me and all that into the other thing and getting me set up, and all I remember was just this oxygen mask just going over my face, and that was it. That was literally it. I knocked out so fast. They told me beforehand what was gonna happen, so I was waiting for that. And then they put the oxygen over mask on my face, and I was like, huh, that's kind of soon for out, gone, just completely fell asleep. It was so. I remember a little bit of when I woke up. And parts of this is what my parents told me, what my family members told me, and everything. So, basically, apparently when I woke up, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, am I late for stream? God, even now, I'm so red in the face. I was like, oh, that was the thing on my head. Am I late for stream? My mother specifically, just had the look of, when she retold me what happened. I was like, oh, I guess I had, priorities, okay? And I also apparently did not know that I already got surgery. I was asking, when are they going to take me in for surgery? My dad was like, you already had it, kid. It's like, huh? I had surgery already? And I was continually persistent that I'm late for stream, that I gotta go stream, that what time is it? When is my stream? I was so insistent on it. My grandparents came over to see how I was doing, and even I asked them. I was asking them, am I late for stream? Oh, that was all I could continuously talk about. Or my dad had to tell me, "You already streamed for today. You have stream tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm good now." That I was so insistent on it. That was the first thing in my brain. Another part to that too was that apparently somebody in my life that unfortunately is no longer here, I had said that I was supposed to stream with him, and he said that we were going to stream, so I kept asking for him as well. Which was kind of sad. I'm kind of curious what the heck happened in my brain while I was under, but yeah, that I was really insistent about streaming, very insistent. So, what YouTube does to a granny. uh, I think my dad had to explain to my grandparents, because it was the two sets, right? It was my mom's parents, and then it was my dad's parents. So one of them don't really understand exactly what I do for streaming. So my dad had to kind of explain that, like, I'm really specific that I have to be there at a certain time, and that's why I was bait. They thought that I had like some boss or something that was really insistent and thought that I was being overworked. But my dad is like, no, the overwork is herself. But it was kind of funny. I remember parts of it, and other stuff is just what other people told me. But yeah, and then pain wise was actually kind of interesting because, like I said, I apparently had no idea that I had a surgery, so I didn't feel it at all. I could move my leg just fine. So okay, let me kind of explain a little bit if you don't understand what it's like for the surgery. So as I said, the doctor doesn't like to cut muscles. So what he said he does is that he literally pulls them to the side. He pushes them the other way, peels them away from where they need to get to, and that. So instead of, having to recover also muscle-wise, that it's just to have to peel it. At least there's no Demon Sony this time. Thank goodness. That would have been bad. So what that means is that he also injected this numbing kind of an idea where I couldn't feel my leg. I still partly can't feel the side of my thigh close to my hip. It's numb. So he had injected this numbing into and it spread into all of my thigh, and apparently, also affected the muscles down by my calf and all of that too. So the first night, I was able to move my leg just fine. I was because my father had stayed with me, and in case I needed help in any way to get to the restroom and all that kind of stuff, right? And I didn't quite understand exactly how intensive this was. Because first night, I was amazing. I was fine. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. I don't feel anything. Next, when the morning comes, I can't move my leg at all. And then that's when it was explained, well, it's because, he injected this numbing medicine into your leg, so of course your muscles are asleep, but they'll eventually wake up. Okay. Well, come to find out, I apparently do have a reaction to anesthesia, and what that is that my whole body tenses. I think it was that day, my first morning in the hospital, I freaked out because my jaw would, like, my teeth would, what do they call it? Like, the clicking together a lot. Like, that sound? Jitter, I guess? Like, and then it was like, was it a reaction to the pain? But then I didn't feel pain. Oh, what is this? And the doctor was like, oh, it's just a reaction to the anesthesia. I was like, oh, okay. It started from there into my whole body decided to just curl up and spasm intensely. It would not stop. Now, it wouldn't be so concerning where the problem became that my, leg that I can't feel, those muscles also decided to do the same thing, which is also, where my hip is. My dogs are barking. Why are my dogs barking? I don't know. They're gonna start howling. I can hear them going right now. Of course they are. But yeah, so that was probably the most painful thing I had ever experienced, and the most frightening thing, because I couldn't control my body to, you know, stop it. And I just remember just kept telling, like, as if I could control my leg by just talking to it, of just, please stop, please stop. And then finally the nurses came in. They gave me like a muscle relaxant, so immediately my muscles stopped doing that. But yeah, so come to find out, I do have a reaction to anesthesia. It just took a minute for it to do it. As it hurt a lot. It was one of the worst pains I'd ever felt. And a couple times my leg muscle would do that, and my teeth would clatter like that a lot too. But the rest of my body kind of stopped doing that. So as time progressed, the anesthesia started to wear off. So it was a whole lot better. That was more manageable and everything. Then came the problem to part 2. So when I was talking with the doctor, you know me, I had an IV in, right? As long as you're in a hospital, they have to keep an IV in you. If you don't know what an IV is, basically what they do is they get a needle, they stick it into a vein so they can put medicine into your body and administer it really fast, instead of, you know, having to do pills or liquids, anything oral, basically. The thing was that I hate things inside of my body. Absolutely, it's a fear of mine that I have, and I hate it. So they stick the one in my arm that you usually, you know, you see, they stick it in that little fold right there in your elbow on the opposite side, right? Well, when I woke up, there was one in my hand. When I saw that, it slightly freaked me out, but I was so out of it that I didn't care at the time. And they asked me, did I want it removed? And I was like, nah, it's fine. It's, you know, it's all good. Well, when it came time that I had to get up, they were like, oh, you got to use a walker to get up because you can't move your right leg. And I was like, what do you mean I can't move my right leg? I couldn't. It's so weird. Like, I can't fully move my leg all the way. It does really good. Like, I can walk, but to say, like, if I am laying down, and you know how you could just lift your entire leg straight up? I can't do that, or move it left or right when laying down. Not yet, at least. Eventually, as time progresses, I will be able to do that, just as now that I can actually do the walking motion, but not actually walk. So I was like, okay, I could do this. This is fine. This is whatever. I got this. You gotta bear your whole weight on the thing, right? So I went to do that, and the stupid IV in my hand was like, nothing else mattered. I saw that, and I was like, no. And the poor physical therapist that was there trying to help me was like, but what's wrong? I'm like, I need this thing out now. I'm like, I'm trying not to freak out, but I need it out, please. So in came the nurse, and she's like, let me take this out for you. You don't need this one. It's like, okay, I'm better now. I just freaked out. Was it extremely painful? It wasn't extremely painful. It was somewhat painful, but just not to the extreme that it was, but just my fear of stuff inside of my body that I don't like, that clicked in, you know? So it is kind of weird. Like I said, at the time I didn't feel anything, but the minute I had to use, you know, like if you're putting your hand into a tight fist, yeah. It's not ideal. It's not great. It was not great whatsoever. So that was removed. That was great. I was happy about that. And then comes the other of my fears. So I actually ended up staying in the hospital. So when I talked to him, he said at least a night that I have to stay in the hospital because, of course, the surgery happens then. And it actually took 3 hours for everything. And then they had sent me into my recovery room, right? So I had to stay overnight. The next day, he said that at minimum you could stay 1 night. And sometimes at most he's had patients that stay 3, even 4 nights sometimes. And I was like, I'm not gonna stay in the hospital because I don't want this IV thing in my body. I hate this. Yeah, next day I could barely move. I was like, all right, I guess I still have to have the one in my arm. I'm just gonna pretend it's not there and keep falling asleep repeatedly and then being disturbed by nurses coming in and to check on me. But that's fine. So, and it was weird, like, because they have a TV that you could turn on, and I had my phone too, but I absolutely wanted nothing. I just wanted pitch black, nothing. I like the idea of turning the TV on, of messing with my phone was just, it was the last thing on my mind. And instead it just would annoy me anytime that would happen. And I think it was just the amount of, I was probably in pain, but didn't quite realize it then. So I stayed another night because doctor was like, yeah, you are not going to be able to go home. And I was like, all right, fine. So I stayed another day, and it was so weird because the doctor came in and he's like, okay, he's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I can get to the restroom now, which was the goal. They will not, if you don't know, hospitals will not discharge you if you are not able to go to the restroom. Because if you can't, they got issues. A lot of issues. So that is one of the huge requirements to be able to be discharged. But now I was able to. So they're like, oh, great, cool. They're like, well, if you want to stay another night, it's up to you. If you want to be discharged, just let me know. I think somebody heard that and thought, oh, we're being discharged now. While there I had another reaction to the anesthesia, which was not ideal. So that cramped me up really, 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 really bad. And that set me back another time, and it was not great. And so they ended up having to kind of like counteract the anesthesia to kind of, you can't flush it out of somebody's body really, rather than just waiting for the time, but you can counteract the effects of it as much as you can. So as the nurses were doing this, what they call, I think, a charge nurse is basically someone who helps you either like if you need to schedule in-home therapy or stuff like that, and also discharges you. She came in insistent that I was being discharged right then and there, so that, if they're going to discharge you, they cannot administer any more medicines to the IV. The nurse there was like, I'm sorry, this patient's being discharged now, and I'm sitting there like, I am? And she's like, yeah, that's doctor's orders. I heard it when we were here. And the nurse is looking at me like, I heard something different, did you? And I'm there in pain. Like, right now, I don't care. I don't know. You think I can talk right now? I'm dying. It's what it felt like. I can't explain to you the pain, other than it was it's such a deep inside body pain, because, it's my bones, so of course it is. But it was this whole catastrophe to where the charge nurse was so insistent that I was being discharged, to where my nurse was like, I don't think so. Thank goodness my father was there, and he of course had I forgot what it's called, but he could make decisions for me, and he was just like, I don't think that's what he said. Come to find out, call the doctor. And he's like, I did not order discharge at all. That was not me. So I never saw that charge nurse again. I don't know what happened, but it was a whole catastrophe. To finally, that night, which I think was my third night, I can't remember. And they went to go put medicine again into the. So I was out of fluid. So what happens is that they have an IV in you, right? And they have the fluids that are going into your body to keep you hydrated and all the different stuff. Well, I had no more fluids to give in, so it was just the IV just there in my arm, nothing hooked up to it. So when the nurse went to go, and sometimes what happens is the blood would push out into the tubing, so they'll have to flush it basically to get the blood back down and then be able to send in the drug. When that happened, it was so... This probably intensified my fear of things inside of my body that, you know, are not meant to be there. It hurt so bad. It felt like... I can imagine what it's like to be shocked, electrically shocked by sitting in water, burning. I don't know, but it was to that intense extreme that I was just crying. And I like to think I have a somewhat high pain tolerance. Not when it came to that. To where I was like, can I no longer have IV medications, please? Can we stop doing that? Which, of course, IV medication is usually... I mean, they have different types, but the types they were giving me were pretty high. Not something you would get in a pill kind of idea. Where the nurse was kind of shocked that I requested it, but I was like, I'm not... That hurt really, really bad. I was like, I could tolerate the pain in my leg, as intensive as it was. I'd rather feel the pain of a broken bone than I would of a foreign object in my arm burning. I'm sure, I don't know how many other patients have probably asked the nurse that exact thing, but she looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, okay, if that's what you want, we'll try it. I was like, please. So what was basically happening, to kind of explain the medical things of what was going on, is that usually you can leave an IV in somebody's body without it being at risk for infection for about 3 to 4 days technically. And once that is done, what they'll do is kind of give that IV a break, take it out, and they have to put in another one. So I was like, that's not happening. I am getting out of this hospital before that has to happen. I'm sure that it was a great idea. Basically, the nurse was like, you are sure you want to go home? And I was like, I'm not having another IV put in. I am going home. I'm not doing this again. So that is indeed what happened. And I was able to go home. God, I hate roads, because bumps hurt a lot, but made it home. I hardly actually remember how I ended up getting home. I think I blocked out most of that. I just remember ended up in bed and like, how did I get here? And yeah, that's technically my journey from the hospital. I hated it. My next objective is, when I have to get the other side done, I'm going to make it as minimal a stay as possible as I can in a hospital again. Look, everybody there treated me great. They were all really good. They were very kind, very understanding. Once I told them I had a fear of, this IV, they were like, oh, you're not kidding. I'm like, I'm not kidding. They were very understanding, and they were very kind about it. So I really do appreciate it, because I know some people could be like, just get over it. It's like, sure, that's easy to do. But they were very kind. They were very great. But I would like to say never again, but I do have to get it again. But also, what was kind of interesting is that when I finally had come home, they ended up saying that I would have in-home therapy, because I didn't realize how major the surgery was. I thought this was just a little thing. I don't know why in my head I thought it was, but when you actually hear that he scoots muscles over and literally cuts your pelvis bone, and then, sticks, I forgot how much he called it, 6 inches, I think. I don't know what that is in centimeters, but 6 inches of 4 pins into your bone to make them stay. I didn't quite understand just how major that was until now, going through it. I'm like, oh, I understand now. So, of course, my leg is still trying to understand how to work again, trying to strengthen up those muscles because they haven't been used, and slowly being able to bear weight on it, which I think is probably my biggest frustration. Like, I just want to bear weight on it now. I do. Like, I just want to try to start walking. My doctor was like, oh, hell no, don't do that. And I was like, okay. Hopefully soon. I thought it was already 4 weeks after my surgery. I was like, it's 4 weeks now. I could start putting more pressure. Why? He looked at me and he was like, kid, it was barely 3. I saw him Thursday, so that was then. So I think now it's approaching my 4th one. Or my 3rd. Now I don't know. I've been so thrown off on my days. I have no idea what the weeks are anymore. I'm like, when is it? Huh? But yeah. It only causes spasms, so it affects us well. No, it doesn't affect the anesthetics effects. It's just just imagine if it's the medicine that you are given, and you know how they say they have side effects of that. It's just from that, but actually the effectiveness of said medicine isn't affected through that by what your body reacts to it. It could just be your body might not accept the medication for what it's supposed to do, but usually for anesthesia, it's very rare for somebody to not have the, actually be affected by the anesthesia. But you do have, what do they call it? Side effects, kind of a sense. But everybody kind of has their own, and they have their similar ones to other people that have had it and stuff like that. So that's a new one for me, so I gotta make sure the next time I tell the anesthesiologist of like, I have been terrible muscle spasms. And it freaked me out at first because it was the way my body curled up was very similar to how somebody going into a seizure is like. So I was a little freaked out kind of thinking about that. But thankfully, the anesthesiologist was like, no, don't worry, you're fine. It's not a seizure. It's just a reaction to it. I was like, oh, thank goodness. Because it was really weird. Like, I would say look up somebody but do be aware of it's kind of intense if you've seen somebody going through a seizure, but kind of how their body tends to curl up. That was exactly how my body was. This is weird. It was very odd. And I was like, of course, the time I figure out my reaction to that is the time that I have to get this surgery. Like, could it have been for my endoscopy? No. What are you weird? That's what I'm not supposed to. Exactly. It's terrible. Are you tall one side now? Something. Eileen? It's a good one. It's a good one. I was like, Eileen. Oh, I see. Yes, actually. It's kind of weird. So, trying to mimic the idea of walking. So, he said I could start putting pressure on the leg, right? So, to kind of imagine, the reason why you can't put the intense pressure is because, so you have your hip here, right? You have your bone, your socket. So, my hands are not meeting up the way they're supposed to be. But, basically, it sits into the socket up here. And so, that's what he cut. So, every time you step, that bone is rotating and also being pushed in. So the problem with walking normally and putting pressure is, of course, the risk of I don't let the bone heal appropriately, so it might have some abnormalities in the way it heals, or it could just completely break it to where he had ended up cutting it already because he had to do that to form my hip the way it was supposed to be. So that's why I kind of have to slowly put pressure as the weeks progress and not my full weight on it. So when I try to mimic that walk, it's awkward because my right leg is indeed longer than my left. Not by much, but noticeable to the fact that it's to give you an imagination, if you have a shoe that has a very thick sole and wear that on one foot and your other foot just completely bare. That's kind of how to describe what it feels like. But I can't put weight on that foot that has the big sole. So that's my big issue. It's like, So I don't know actually how much taller. I think it differs between patients, but I could probably ask them and be like, hey, how much taller am I on that side? But hopefully, when I get the surgery for the other side of the hip, it'll balance out and I won't have any more of that. I don't know how this works. But yeah. And to kind of explain, I healed really well when I got back home. Like I was pretty, there was supposed to be the supervisor physical therapist that came to the house. And he was like, okay, we're going to get it all scheduled up of what you're going to be getting for in-home therapy. And the therapist will call you. Okay. And he taught me a little bit of what I should do, just a little checkup to see how I was progressing. So I was kind of following what he had taught me to do. The physical therapist never called. And literally, I find out from the nurse that was watching me, who would come back, to check on me. And she's like, what do you mean the physical therapist hasn't come? And I'm like, yeah, the physical therapist never came. He's like, but it stated here that he came on Friday. And I was like, well, I can tell you, nobody's been here on Friday. So apparently, the physical therapist has been lying. It's becoming. And so that's a big problem that has to be dealt with now. Why can't things be easy? So, yeah, I have to deal with that issue. But, yeah, so I was only supposed to have it for 2 weeks. And then now I'm going to be going somewhere for the therapy. So, yeah, that was, I've never seen that before. So that was really interesting. I wonder how often that's done. Right, like, it was weird. Maybe he just thought that, like, the nurse would never tell me. I don't know. It was very, very odd, but thankfully I've been following the therapy that the supervisor had told me about. So by the time, like, she was kind of checking on me and telling, like, asking me, like, am I okay? Like, can I move my leg? So I showed her a little bit. She's like, oh, you're progressing way better than I thought you would be. She's like, you're fine. She's like, but what's not fine is that he hasn't shown up. And I was like, I know. I gotta figure out what's going on with that now. So, yeah. Awkward otherwise. Well, now I don't need in-home therapy. When I told the doctor about what was happening, he's like, well, you could completely cancel them and then deal insurance-wise and all that things for, that technically never came, so only a nurse will get paid. But now I'm going to be going out into a building for physical therapy because they need the equipment that they have there for my next set of rehabilitation, I guess, for my leg. So that's going to be done. Since I can't drive, thankfully I have some lovely people that are going to be helping me with that. So yeah. So kind of what I have to say is because of that, I don't know what time those will be scheduled, but I'd like to say I'm officially back for streaming. I feel great. I really do. I would have been able to stream when I originally had this stream set up, But the problem is, I got sick. And I still have a little bit of it. And so I'm like, of course I get sick. It knocked me on my butt. I could not move for a whole day. In which, you know, when I'm trying to heal, I kind of have to move my leg a little bit so it doesn't get stiff. So that set me back terribly. And I was so frustrated and angry about it. But I was completely fine. I really was. I was completely fine. Like, now I'm honestly really great. Like, the pain is very minimal. Thank goodness I don't have to be on heavy drugs anymore, so I'm actually really happy about that. I don't like the feeling of being on those medications. I really hate it. I don't like that, like, my vision gets a little blurry. A little bit of the side effects and just a feeling of it. I don't like it. I really don't. I have a disdain for those feelings. So, but thankfully, I no longer have to take any of those. It's been doing really, really great. No weird muscle spasms, and numbness is starting to go away. Just like I said, I have that weird sensation. Even the doctor said, he's like, you might feel numb there for a couple years. It just depends. He's like, but it's not going to impede anything. It's like, oh, great. It's like I have a weird numb patch. But, yeah, I honestly I'm, according to the doctor, even without the therapy, it's a miracle. I'm actually doing pretty good. So thank goodness for that. But I do say that with stream, I don't know. I've heard physical therapy is usually, and I can understand, is usually more painful than recovering from a surgery. So with that said, I'm probably going to try to get their physical therapy later in the days. So, you know, I'm not knocked on my butt for the entire day. And I could just go to sleep afterwards and be happy about it. But if it ends up being something that kind of puts me in bed for a whole day, I will probably... Streams might be a little scattered here and there. Maybe it'll happen at different hours. So kind of, for the streaming side of things, be aware of that. I like to say I'm officially back, but I'm not really. I'm somewhat. And for like gaming activities, I don't know if I'm fully set to do that. So we'll probably have more of a reaction streams, kind of just watching some stuff together. I had said a couple months ago that I said we would watch something, so I already have some of that set up. We'll kind of test as those go. I already see the stream is almost going for an hour, but to be honest, I'm getting really tired. So kind of skip through how things are ended up going and end up going with all of that kind of stuff, and all that's great. So how much did it cost for your surgery? I will not give a specific amount of monies, but I will say it was really expensive, and thank goodness for insurance. It is really, really expensive, but it's a surgery that I needed to get. And unfortunately, I like to say, we're done. We don't have to worry about this again. But I actually have to get my other side of the hip done later, so that kind of sucks. Which I'm not... It sucks, but at the same time, just get it over with. So I have it set in June, so to also be aware for streaming now that we, you know, I'd like to say think earlier to this week. As long as I don't get sick, that is probably when streams will be able to resume again. The problem is that apparently I have it worse in my left hip than I do on my right, so I don't know if that will affect recovery, of how well I will be able to recover quick, if that affect anything. I don't know, but just to be on the safe side and to be aware, now that I've already gone through this may happen again in June. I'm not gonna say for sure, because I need my current leg to be on par or better than my left leg to be able to, you know, go through the surgery, because now it's gonna be the other leg that has to deal with bearing all my weight. And I remember talking with the doctor, and I was like, do you think I could do it back in June? And he's like, you're going to be surprised by the fact that you're gonna be able to bear weight on this leg. And I'm like, you know, you're not wrong. I feel like I've been with a walker for months now, that this has been my life. It's been forever. It's been years, guys. It's been years. It's been so many years that I've been doing this. I'm getting upper body strength, though. Should have been doing a lot more late night Valorant stream stuff to strengthen my upper body, I will say. But, so yeah, so just kind of be aware. I'm hoping we'll have a kind of a little bit more back to normal streams definitely in May, and probably fill up May with a ton of streams as much as I can. That when we hit in June again, hopefully recovery will be about the same time and be back, and then I will officially be done and we'll be completely back into getting and going, and you know, you have a full body Fatum that's all ready to go for VR stuff. Yes, I didn't do this just because I wanted to do VR stuff for stream. It was part of it, okay? It was part of it. Look. There was this game that I saw that's for VR that I actually saw a couple months ago, maybe a whole year now. I don't know now. What year is it? I really want to play, and I just, you know, I thought it will become exactly VR. I know March is almost over. I cannot believe it. I'm sad. I remember because my parents are really the ones that have been helping me a lot, which I'm very, very grateful for. I felt so bad for my father because he stayed with me completely in the hospital. He stayed overnight, everything. And I felt bad because I felt like he wasn't sleeping because the nurses would come in all the time. And somebody, I don't remember who, I was so out of it, but somebody had come in and they were like, here's a chocolate bar for, you know, a victory for this. And both my dad and I were notoriously known for fighting each other for chocolate. So I was like, here, Dad, I'm like, you deserve this. This is everything. And you know what he said? It was the sweetest thing ever. He's like, I'm just doing my job as a dad. I wanted to cry. I was like, oh. It was so sweet. He still ate half my chocolate bar. But it was good. It was good. But yeah, no, so they've been helping me out with everything and getting moving around. And even when I told them, I was like, I'm going to try streaming today. And they're like, for 30 minutes, right? I'm like, 2 hours? An hour? And they're like, okay. All right. They're like, just make sure you can get back to the bed. I'm like, okay. I've been doing good. I've been able to stay on my own. I can get around and everything. My dogs actually do pretty good. Marky's been pretty good. If you don't know, hey, we have a Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it. But Marky's been hanging out with me a lot. He's one of my dogs. And he's good. He doesn't sit on me. I didn't realize how terrifying that would be when I saw my pug coming to try to sit on me. And I was like, holy crap, I'm going to die. I was like, that's right. I can't have you sit on me because that is painful. It is weird. It is like, I mean, obviously, the broken bone technically is what I'm dealing with. And pins, which is definitely not freaking me out. Never. But, like, to put pressure on it is the scariest thought in the world. And it's like, I'm fine. I can walk around and everything's completely normal. But, like, the minute the side of a door just, like, brushes that side of me, I'm like, oh. Like, I'm gonna die. Ah. If your surgery is there a chance to use a wheelchair? No. So, the thing is, you might wonder, right? It's like, hey, if you need it on both sides of hip, why not just get both done at the same time? The problem is that you have to be able to walk, at least with one leg, to be able to recover from these surgeries. So that is why hip replacement, POA, anything like that. POA? PAO? I forgot what it's called. PAO, POA. One of those. I can't remember. I'm flipping the 2 letters. But anything to do with hip surgery, or even probably on your legs too, if you have it bilateral, you have to do one, and you can't do both at the same time, because you have to be able to walk. So that's the requirement for me. If I'm gonna get the surgery in June, I have to be able to bear full weight on my right leg. So the doctor tells me, yeah, you'll be able to. I'm like, huh? I will. But yeah, like I said, honestly, the people who've been taking care of me, from the doctors, the nurses, to family members, friends, all of them, they have been. This has like been a moment of like just how much I appreciate the people around me. It's been insane. Where even like the doctor and the nurses, they had told me, they're like, don't worry. They're like, we'll just put you down in the books. Like, you know, we have that slot for you to get the surgery done. But if you don't think you'll be able to, we have no problems moving it. I was so shocked to hear that. I was like, you're not going to charge me? And they're like, they say they have a lot of patients that have this stuff, which kind of makes me a little upset, which I'll get into later. But that they have no problems moving it, so that was nice to hear. But no, if wheelchair would usually be like, I kind of had the wheelchair. Okay, I was stubborn, and when I went to go to my doctor's appointment, they were like, hey, do you want a wheelchair? Because it's kind of far to get to the room. And I was like, no, I can do this with my walker. It was the worst thing I've ever done. I was so sweaty. I was in so much pain. As the doctor was there, and he was like, did you just... And I was like, I was stubborn. And I accepted taking the wheelchair back. But that's like the times that I would be in a wheelchair. So I have to walk longer than like the usual distance of anything, and they'd be like, and just any time I don't feel stable on my feet, they'd be like, yeah, take a wheelchair. So I had to take a wheelchair when going from the hospital to the car to go home. I had to have the wheelchair from the doctor's appointment coming back. That was bad of me. So that would be the only time that I'd be in a wheelchair, because most times, you know, they want me to get walking, but not a time that I would be at a risk to fall. So would I have to be in a wheelchair for that in June? No, I cannot. I cannot be in a wheelchair. I have to be able to walk. So, hey. Yeah, PAO. And the socket. It's basically like when it doesn't form correctly, where, you know, the little ball doesn't go into the socket like it's supposed to, or it doesn't sit in there properly, so they kind of have to form a socket appropriately. It's weird. And so I mentioned why, like, I kind of was upset about it. So if you don't know, this is something you're born with. It's not something that you do to yourself. It's something you're completely born with. And usually it's called a childbirth. But come to find out that either the doctor that, you know, brings you into the world doesn't check for it. What they do is they grab your little feet and they bend your knees towards your head, torso, as they lay you down, and then they rotate them outward into pulling them straight. And what they're listening for is a little pop sound. So if your hips pop, and you think it's your knees, or if you're like, you know, very flexible, like you can do the splits without really having to, you know, train for it, you probably have hip dysplasia. Yes, I am very flexible, and I never realized that. I heard the pops and I was like, that's just old. It's like, oh, I see. I remember, like, one of the times, I think it was with my cousins, we were, like, doing the splits, and they're like, damn, you can do the splits. I was like, yeah, I've never, you know, actually trained for it. You know, the whole stretching thing. I don't know what that is. Yeah, those were kind of signs that, hey, you might have hip dysplasia. So, and it's something that can actually be developed later until I think, like, you're 13 kind of idea. And not so much that it just developed, it's just the way that you, because of course your bones are still kind of forming into what they're supposed to be, and they're still growing and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of how it eventually will form into being more noticeable, because it can be undetected from an earlier age. So it kind of made me a little upset when I heard that this is actually a somewhat common thing, especially the big, you know, like factors are like, how do you have it? Being the firstborn, being a female, and also it could be hereditary, which apparently I hit all three. So yeah, but of course it can happen with males. It can happen even second born. It can happen in other ways, but usually the common factors are those three. It just depends. And like I said, it's usually detected, but either the doctor didn't check for it, or it was developed a little later and just wasn't caught then. And of course, it's like I said, it was something that I never knew of. I never knew this was a thing of hip dysplasia like that. I just, you know, I would hear hip replacements and like, you fell and you broke your hip bone and something like that. And the thing is like with this kind of surgery, it has a high success rate depending on how your bones and joints are, and it does have a potential to fail. So what I mean is that this is a surgery that is preventing me from hopefully getting a hip replacement until I am the oldest of old ladies possible. To the point where I just wouldn't care at that point. I'd be like, I'm fine. Because like they and it's kind of weird, right? You think hip replacement, you got metal. Oh, isn't that better? Actually, no, it's not. Having a hip replacement does have other complications. The fact that one, your body could reject the foreign materials, but that's usually something that's kind of caught pretty early when they keep you in the hospital. If you don't know, that's kind of sometimes the reason they keep you in the hospital. And two, it causes limitations. So like to be able to run, to jump, can't really do that with the hip replacement, because then you have to probably get hip revisions. So another surgery will have to go in and, you know, fix it up. So it's kind of to prevent that from happening. It's a whole thing. But I was kind of sad when I was just thinking about like how common it can be, and then how many people don't know and can go. Like I got really lucky that the time that it was caught for me, and it was bizarre to tell you my hips have ever hurt. No, they did not start hurting till October when I was out on that trip with my family, where I could barely walk. It was so painful to just move, and then since then, anytime that it was walking for more than an hour or standing for more than an hour, it was painful. It was painful to just move. It's weird. It was really weird. I had never had this before, and then finally, I guess, just the grinding of my bones was just like, enough. But yeah, it was pretty interesting, and it was kind of funny because the doctor talked to my parents afterwards, right, and was talking to them, and he was saying, because he could see the extent to how much damage he was like, it was pretty good damage. I could see why it hurt. It's like, thanks, doc. So I'm kind of curious what my other one looks like, because apparently it's worse from the x-rays that they had taken. So that should be interesting. Oh, but did I talk about that, you know, my muscles had to be stitched? So I don't know if they do this for hip replacements too. Apparently it's easier to recover from a hip replacement than this surgery. And I was like, damn it. Of course it is. But basically, like I said, he moves the muscles, right? They don't like to cut the muscle. They like to move them out of the way, peel them off. That's kind of creepy to think about, peeling off your own muscle. And he talked about that I forgot what he called it. I can't remember the name of it. But it's the muscle that goes from all the way to the high hip to all the way down to like your ankles. that strand of muscle, yeah, I just decided, let me peel that. Also, hello and welcome to everybody who's been joining. Sorry, I've been rambling on and on and on. Just, I had a whole adventures happening while I've been gone for all these weeks. Months? Has it been a month? It's been weeks. Guys, how long have I been gone? But, it was, it was, yeah, so, and then afterwards he just apparently stitched it. Just decided, let me stitch this back. And I was like, oh, you can do that? You can stitch muscle? And of course, my thought about it was, you can pop it, right? You can pop the stitches off. I've heard about it where people mess with their incisions and poof, they mess up the way it heals or it pops open and all that stuff. Guys, I might have been watching like real life surgery scenarios that happened while I was recovering, because of course that's what I decide to watch. But like there was one, they had the artery, cardiac artery, I can't remember what it's called, but the one on the side of the neck that's like, really important. So he had it there because he had it to get his artery cleaned out. So they had the incision there and it popped open because he was vomiting a lot from the medication, and it popped open and it just sprayed blood. So, I had that in my head. So when he told me, he's like, oh yeah, I just stitched the muscle back. And I was thinking about all the exercises I was doing with my leg to get it moving again and, stop being just a limp appendage. I was like, is that gonna... I didn't tell him, but in my head I was thinking, I was like, oh my god, what if those stitches just pop off and then my muscle just, peels off again, and then I just can't move my leg, and then they have to do surgery again and open me up again, and then who knows what they'll have to do. I went into this spiral and thought, you know what, I'm gonna stop asking the doctor questions. Like, I don't know because, okay, I said, I have a fear of foreign objects inside of my body, right? I hate it. I try not thinking about the pins. But when I asked him specifically what I was feeling there, because it's in the prominent, so if, like, you can feel right there where your hip is, right? So if you feel in your hip, that little prominent bone that sticks out in the front, that's that little pinpoint moment there is what was like a super sharp pain. And I could tell you it was in that area because it felt deep. So I'm like, it's not my incision, because it's kind of funny. My incision goes in that area. Okay, so kind of explain. So the incision is in the inside of my leg. It goes from all the way to that prominent point of the bone downwards into to where the bend of my leg is, into my torso. So it's a small little incision on that side. But yeah, so like it was that prominent bone. And I was like, what is that? So he's like, is it precisely there, or is it like if you're looking down on it, a downward area? So when he said that, in my head I thought, oh shoot, I think I know where the pins are now. So sure enough, he's like, I told him it was more topical than it was from a downward. And so he's like, okay, the topical part, that's the muscle I stitched back. He's like, the downward part, that's where your 4 pins are. Have I touched that area? No, I don't plan to. I don't plan to. I don't want to think about the fact that they're there. I'm good. No thank you. No thank you. I got to see them. I got to see what they look like. They look like pins. They're kind of skinny, right? Because they got to fit them into that area. But they just like a skinnier, smaller version of like railroad spikes. That's kind of how to explain what those look like. Like, not like a pin of, you pin it into the wall. No, they're thick enough. I mean, they have to be thick enough to hold bone, right? So, yeah. I try not to think about it too much. what happened to the pins. No, he said that they'll just stay there. So what's basically happening is the bones forming around them. And he said that he could, if I wanted to, he could take them out. So they're nails. Basically nails, but they like to call them pins. To probably not freak people out. But he said that he could, of course, take them out afterwards. Probably, like, not till a year or so. But that would mean he has to cut me open again and then pull them out. So I was like, do I live with the fact that I have these in my body for my rest of my life? And just try not to think about it? Or remove them? I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, so that was great information to know. I was kind of wondering, I was like, would they pick up on like metal detectors? He said they shouldn't, but there is a possibility. So now it's gonna be interesting, right? Actually, because they're made with a weird material that isn't really picked up by metal detectors, but it depends on the concentration of them that they could potentially be. So sometimes they apparently do, and sometimes they don't. He's like, he's had people who sometimes had, and some people who they've had sometimes they detected them, sometimes they don't. It's just, I guess, just depends either on the machine that's detecting them or what it is. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And the interesting part too is that he said when I hit my 8 weeks from surgery that he's going to do an x-ray, and then once the x-ray is going to check like how the bone's healing, and then from there will depend if I can bear my full weight and start trying to walk normally now without a walker, or if I'll have to wait. But when I thought about that, I was like, oh cool, I get to walk. And then I thought about it again, and it's like, oh shoot, I want to see the pins. I was like, I don't know if I want to see the pins in my body. And like I said, I can't sleep in my own bed. Because this is interesting, right? They're like these little things I never thought would be a problem. And I very much appreciate. Now, I have so many. It's weird, if you look at me, you don't see anything actually wrong. I look completely fine. Like, I forgot, my cousin saw me, and she's like, you look great. I was like, I'm dying. She's like, what do you mean? You look great. I'm like, it was earlier on. So I was like, there's pain. So much pain. I was like, weird pain too, I'm not used to. But it's weird. Like, there is nothing that you can see that you would ever know that I had this. It's kind of interesting. I have a whole different appreciation for a lot of things. Like I said, like to get on my bed sits pretty low to the floor. I can't sleep on my bed because I can't get all the way down there because I don't have the full. I could probably just plop down on my bed, but that actually kind of hurts even though it's squishy because of just all of that. It's really weird. And like to lay on your side, you guys know you want to like to lay on your side to sleep. That was really hard to do. Because I can't lay on it. If I try to lay on the other side, just all of that movement and all of that, like, just the way it all moves and the way that your muscles strain on that side of the hip and everything, it aches. I'm like, this is weird. All these little movements I didn't know were so important. It's so strange. And like I'm this might be a little graphic, but like I'm an old lady to the point that I have to have railings anytime I have to sit somewhere. To sit in my chair for stream, I have to be careful because it's a rolly one, right? It's really interesting. It's protect your pelvis. This bone breaks. Actually, I've heard that it's very vascular. Basically, it bleeds a lot if you break that bone, so it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous bone to break. It's funny, I had it willingly broken. But, you know, it's surgically, so it's different. But it's really dangerous. It's a really dangerous bone to break, and kind of trying to recover from it. Ow! Those people that have fallen and broken their hips, ow! I've heard, like, people that get run over by vehicles and stuff, and their hips get broken. Like, it's extremely dangerous. I think it's up there with I mean, of course, any of your spinal cord being broken, that's very dangerous as well, in many different reasons, but it's terrible. Terrible. I think, I don't know if the ones I have are trying. I haven't asked him because I try not to think about it. I probably should ask him and see what it is. Probably, though. If you name the pins that lose their power over you, name one Fred. I got 4 pins. I'm gonna technically have 8 in total. So I got 4 pins. You guys name my pins. One of them's Fred. What's the other 3? We agree that the pins qualify. You're trying to make me a cyborg? Gently lower you in. Basically, yes, I do. It's a requirement now. That's what I need. No, it's kind of, I can get around pretty fast now with my walker, which I'm happy about. But I was kind of talking with my mother about it. It's like, it's so weird to have a reliance on something else to get around. It's just, I've seen people that have to use a wheelchair, canes, all sorts of stuff for different reasons of why that's how they need to get around and stuff. But to actually be the person that has to rely on that, it's a weird feeling. It really, really is. It's a whole eye-opening experience and a whole different sort of appreciation that unfortunately people that don't just get to recover and stuff like that. So it's really opened my eyes a lot to things. It really has. A lot of respect to those people. Really, 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 I do. And like now I've had complications of my hands hurt a lot because I had to start bearing a lot of my weight on the walker. Now it's getting a little better because I can bear some weight on my leg now, but that was painful. My shoulders hurt so bad. My arms would hurt. Like, all of that would hurt. Even my back would start to hurt. And sometimes my back still does somewhat hurt, but I think it's just because I don't have the option to really lay in different positions. So for me, it's either sit or lay down. And to stand, I'm limited, and here's my biggest problem that I'm limited on. My left leg locks up if I stand in one position and don't move around, because I have hip dysplasia. So my leg isn't absolutely perfect already. So that's going to be very interesting when I get to, it's going to be the left one that gets surgery, and my right one should be the strong one now, and I probably won't have to worry about that locking up. So I'm happy about that. But it really I get to see like the complications of having this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is pretty bad. And on our butt, what if we're falling? I mean, it's probably better to land on your butt when falling, because that's usually taught is to grab the back of your head, get your hands, put them in the back of your head, cross them over, and to tuck your chin in as much as possible. Actually, sorry, that's not how. That's different. That's a different one. Basically, pull your arms into your chest, tuck your neck in as far as possible, and when you're trying to fall down, try to kind of land more on your back than on your side, because it's easier to kind of break either your arm, and of course you don't want to really, not on your full back, but kind of try to land on your butt, because yes, it does have a risk, but hitting the sides of your hips are probably the easiest way to break your hip, which is interesting, right? It's very rare. You probably have to have some bone condition or like I said, be crushed by something to really destroy your hip. But hitting it on the sides is pretty much a really good guarantee that hip is going to be broken, rather than the back or the front kind of parts. So that's the interesting thing. I guess it's the density or the way that, I don't know exactly that part. I don't know too much about bones. Oh, thank you so much, Ren Man. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Also, I do want to say thank you to everybody who has been patient with me. I know that I wanted to get back to streaming last week, but then I ended up catching this cold flu. I don't know what this was. But I do appreciate that. I was kind of talking with somebody about the whole streaming thing, and they're like, "Why are you so anxious to get back?" And I told them, I think it's the idea that, yes, I know people are being very patient with me and very understanding, which I appreciate, but at the same time, like, it's just something I enjoy. I enjoy doing this. It's fun. Even though I was anxious before this and thinking, and all my self-doubt was clouding me, it's just something I do, and it feels like a responsibility to get back as soon as I can, and to get back into the swing of things, which I think it's still going to take me a while to really fully get into everything. Like I said, I'm trying not to overexert myself with energy, so I have enough to, still get around and do a little bit of my own physical therapy for my legs. So I think it'll still take a minute to get that energy back, but at least kind of get the ball rolling idea is what I've been wanting to do. So, but I really do want to say I thank you to everybody who's been patient with me from this whole recovery. I know this was it felt very long. Has it been longer than I usually been? I think my problem is that I've been home where my computer is, so I'm like, it's there, I can grab it. How do I get to it? I think that's my issue. I think if I was elsewhere in the hospital, probably wouldn't have been like so anxious to get back. But the fact that I'm like, it's in the other room, I can go. but so I do appreciate it. So thank you. I know for video games, I know a lot of games have released new updates for himself, Enfield and Wuthering Waves also did as well, but I don't think I'll be able to play those updates anytime soon. I said I want to test myself a little bit on the reactioning to stuff, because I feel like those are a little bit more energy than kind of just sitting here talking. So kind of see how that ends up going, and I think if I have a pretty good amount of energy from there, maybe I'll try to slowly ease into video games again. Gacha games are a little bit easier for me because I tend to have like quite a bit of cutscenes and a lot of talking areas, so I don't have to plan things out, put too much thought process into playing those. So energy wise, I think that might be a pretty good easing point, and then be able to slide into other video games, which thank goodness I finished the Resident Evil before, because God, I've seen so many Resident Evil spoilers everywhere. I'm glad we finished it. That was worth it. Gacha character model tier list when? We could do that for the 5th anniversary, which that has probably been, like, this is the worst timing for me to get surgery, because, I have the big old 5 years of doing this coming up. So all these things, I gotta get ready for it. And there was something that I needed from my computer for this anniversary stream, and I was like, God dang it, I forgot to send it to my phone, because I could finish it off doing it from my phone. But the problem is that I had one thing on my computer that I absolutely needed for this. So now that I'm on my computer, I'm finally will be able to send it to my phone. But I was just like, oh, March is ending, and then I only have April. Thank goodness my anniversary is not till the end of May. Thank goodness the 5-year-old past me that did streaming the end of May. Thank goodness. For this year, but then it wouldn't be such an anniversary. Yes, I'm the kind of person that I'm big on having to do things on the day that they are celebrating of, because then I feel like it loses more of its meaning. All right, okay. 31 for $2026. I lost March. It's the sad part for me. So I just lost March. Just completely. It was just gone. No more March. Just bye, March. Bye-bye. But how was everybody while I was gone? How was all that? Did anybody do anything? Hey, I did say in the last stream that I wanted when I got back to name anything that you did for this month that you would consider an achievement, even if it's the tiniest thing. What you do? What happened while I was gone? Tell me. I'm listening. Oh, old Fatum's listening. 6 years ago. And you don't elaborate. Tell me how March had been. Figured out how to actually make a YouTube short. Ooh. Lowest storage. Editing is hard. I think editing can be tough at first, trying to figure out what you want to do and exactly how to edit, depending on what you are editing too. And then I feel like kind of afterwards, like after a couple, no, I'd say a couple, after like 10, 20 of them made, you kind of have your set rhythm of what you kind of do for things. And it starts to become a little easier. I mean, I guess that's with everything, right? After you do it a while, you have your own method, your own spin on things and how to do it yourself. So it becomes easier of like, oh yeah, got that, cool. But nice. Shorts. Did you use a template for YouTube shorts? By template, I mean, you know how that you usually scan onto the internet and they'd be like, well, this is where, you know, there's some of these buttons are put here, buttons are here, so make sure not to have anything in those primary areas because it's just going to be covered up to where the viewers can't see it. Or did you just try to figure it out? At first, like, templates are pretty easy, or like, I got this, but then when you actually, like, make your video thing and then you test it in a template, it's like, oh, crap. Like, how much do I care? Oh, the ratio size of... Yeah. Yep. Got a license for being a Asian actor. I stay. Oh, nice. Nice. Guys, look at all of you doing all this stuff. Look at you guys. That's good. Guys accomplishing things. Very nice. Wait, I didn't realize I had normal chat box set up. This is wrong. We don't want normal chat box. There we go. That's better. Beautiful. Everyone will understand a word you're saying. AV modded some Atari consoles? I don't know what that is. Interesting. AV modded? Sounds cool. And feel the inputter on my Ember team. Screw the meta. Rossi's the is the little kid, right? I think, if I recall. I don't remember their names really. I made up their names. Said my name was look! No! You're still gonna carry that over my head, aren't you? Forever going to carry that over my head. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, I need to clear my throat. Ah, there we go. The road still, my throat still tends to get clogged, and I think it's also just not used to talking this long in a while. I'm actually kind of impressed that I still feel pretty okay. I should have pushed myself, but I'll probably go on for a little longer. Just sitting and talking with you guys now. I'm kind of comfortable with a Debian? What is Debian? Did all these things just happen while I was gone? What happened? Ah, ooh, okay. Ooh, nice, limited, nice. Sweet, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine. Updates. Yeah, nice to see everybody again. Honestly, I like I said, I was so anxious before this stream. I don't know why. Like every self-doubt in my head possibly could just pop up of like, what if I can't do this anymore? What if I don't? What if I lost it in the time that I was gone? So I've been doing this for almost 5 years and a couple weeks out of commission. Really, Fatum. Sorry, I have to have my phone on in the background in case people check up on me and they're like, oh, did she fall? Fine. But it's nice to be back. I will say it is really nice to be back, and I do appreciate everybody for the messages that were all sent. I saw them, so I do appreciate that. So thank you, and also for just being patient and waiting for me, and still being here when I got back. I know. I guess some people say always like you always worry about the ideas like, oh, you don't worry, we'll wait, and then you'll be like, can you come back? Maybe they didn't wait. But I appreciate it, so thank you. For gaming stuff, like I said, I don't think I'm officially back for fully back into all the gaming things that I was hoping to be back for. But I think we'll get to that eventually soon. For member stuff, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know. I think for sure in April we can definitely have our member stream. Not member stream, but members playing together stream in April. I'll have that poll up then. I do want to make up for March, of course, so we'll kind of see how April ends up going. If I think probably by the middle of it starts going pretty well, we'll probably have one for that weekend, and then maybe for another weekend, or I might do it we usually at the second to last weekend do that one, and then maybe the first weekend for May we'll do another one to make it up for it. So kind of do keep that in mind and everything. So should be good. I mean, God, I gotta catch up on making more shorts and all that stuff. I was thinking about it before stream. It's like, maybe I should have got to my computer sooner. I was laying down before stream. I was laying down just watching different stuff, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, I should wait as long as I can and then get to my computer to set up for stream so that I have the amount of stretching out my leg. Because that's the thing, I actually kind of weird about my leg is that to be in like a bent sitting position is kind of feels uncomfortable, so I need to kind of like stretch out my leg. But which is nice about my setup is that I have a little metal pole on the bottom that I used to stick my feet on all the time. Well, guess what? I'm able to! And it's a rolly chair, so I could just push my back out and then just put my leg on there. So, hey, that works perfectly. Thank goodness. I definitely prepared that ahead of time. Absolutely. It was all planned. 100%. But yeah, no. So I'm glad to be somewhat back and hopefully get into a little bit of stuff and slowly kind of ease into things. I think definitely I should be able to stream tomorrow. I don't have anything set for tomorrow. I don't have officially when the physical therapist is coming. So, or sorry, not coming, but I need to go to the physical therapist. So once I find that out, then streams might start to scatter a little bit. So just be aware of that part. But for now, I don't have that. So streams are still probably up and ready to go. But yeah. So probably expect to stream tomorrow. I would say I'll put a schedule up, and I will, but take it very loosely. Keep an eye on YouTube, and also since hey, we have a Twitter account now, keep an eye on there too. Probably there I'll go in more detail of kind of what's going on and keep everybody updated. But for YouTube, I'll also make an announcement just to give everybody a heads up that hey, that stream actually isn't happening, or we're not streaming on that day because hey, physical therapy kicked my butt. So kind of just be aware of that streams are not gonna be absolutely perfect, but they'll kind of set up nicely and hopefully get back to all this what is with this intense music? Never mind, it just decided to be intense. I'll let it be. It's like, oh, streams in odd places. Intense! Yeah. Thank you so much, Dem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good luck with whatever you gotta do. So, members, keep an eye out on YouTube. I'll have a poll up for you guys about what we'll be playing in April. So, I might do that. I might make it April, the usual weekend, and then probably make it up in May. Because I think then I should definitely be back to what we're doing. Basically, I think, 8 weeks out is technically 2 months? Wait, that doesn't make sense. Said 8 weeks out, I should start to be working to being completely normal. That's 2 weeks. Why did he say April 28th? Something around there, I don't know. Well, basically, I'll be able to be pretty much back to normal, so I think definitely, for streaming wise, should be earlier than that, so we'll be good. We'll be getting to games, and we'll have probably a good time. Like I said, I think I'm gonna probably start with gacha games, because those are don't cost me too much energy for stuff, so I think I can go those for a little longer, and then get more into things, so, yeah. Goodbye, Luffy. Thank you so much for coming. Sleep well, sleep well. So glad to see you too. I just realized that the shadow on my strap is white. Has that always been doing that? I'm not gonna think about it. I'm sure it's fine. Anyways, I feel like my voice is starting to kind of give out. Right? It's starting to sound like a little, But anyways, sleep well, sleep well. I mentioned before, look, that was a lifetime ago for me. It really does feel like a lifetime. Oh my god, I forgot to mention the thing that happened. My dad would not stop teasing me about it. So, before I went into the OR, I got my surgery. The anesthesiologist was great. She was amazing. There might have been a reason for that. So, I don't even remember why. Something about like dry mouth, and I can't remember why exactly we were talking about that or going over that, but she went to like kind of examine my mouth area, and I was like, okay, I was laying there in the bed with the IV in my arm already. I'm trying not to freak out about that. You know, I'm here, I'm nervous. I've never really had, you know, I never had actually a major surgery before. Surgery in general. I've had an endoscopy. I've got lucky in my life. Somehow all the injuries I've had never needed surgery, but, you know, I was nervous and everything. I wasn't really thinking about anything other than, oh god, here we go, here we go, here we go. So the anesthesiologist, she comes and was looking at my mouth, and she's like, oh, usually, she talks about lips, and like in the lips we look for, she's like, oh, you got some really good lips there. They look really good. And I don't know how long she stared at my lips. And finally just went back, and she's like, okay. She's like, I think you're good. We'll come back with the doctor to, not with the doctor, but with the nurses to get you to the OR. And I was like, okay. My father would not stop teasing me about it. I said, I think, and I was like, no, Dad, please no. I'm like, not right now. All I'm thinking about is this. He's like, but I think you should really talk to her. And I'm like, I don't, not now, no. And let's just say he would not stop. And to even how much weirder this was, is usually the doctor that does the surgery is usually the one that comes and checks in on you and all that, right? The next day, she's actually the one that went to come check on me as well. Later in the day, out of nowhere, she came in to check on me. And that's when, because I had questions, I asked her about the anesthesia. I was like, why am I chattering teeth and, you know, muscle spasms? She's like, oh, that's you apparently have reactions to anesthesia that you didn't know beforehand. But yeah, she came personally herself, which anesthesiologists never really do ever. I've never heard of an anesthesiologist ever to go check on a patient, unless, you know, there is complications that happen with the anesthesia, but I didn't. I had side effects from it. She came to the room to check on me completely. Like, she stayed for quite a bit, and then she left. Was she pretty? She was. And I have a feeling I'm going to see her again when I get my other hip done, because apparently she works with that doctor a lot for these types of surgeries, because an anesthesiologist, they have to know the kind of how much anesthesia to keep going depending on the surgeries and stuff like that. They give different amounts, like if they're doing something cardiac, or if they're doing something neuro, anesthesiologists should pretty much work with a lot of different surgeries, but they kind of tend to focus on one of them and all that. So, and she's like, oh yeah, I do these all the time with, and then she said the doctor's name. So my father is like, get him, kid. Like, I'm freaking out for the surgery. You think that's the first thing on my head? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. I really couldn't. Don't fumble or you can do this. I can't. I'm at my lowest point when I have an IV in me. I just freak out about everything. But yeah, my father did not let that go. I don't know how many times he kept telling me. He's like, you should do thank you cards to all of the staff here, and then give one to her special, so it's not, you know, obvious and everything. And I was like, Dad, I'm in pain. You think that's what I'm caring about? I just couldn't believe it. It was so funny. So I'll let you guys know if it's the same anesthesiologist again. And my mother was there too. She just kept giving my dad this look of, why? Why? We meant you a number if you can't form a proper sentence. For SpongeBob classic. I just, wingman father me bingo card. My father is usually kind of wingman type. He I don't know how many times he's tried to. So many times in different scenarios, he's like, go kid. And I'm like, I did that. He's like, no, go kid. This is what you do. And I was like, look. This could have been a rom-com. But yeah, no, I couldn't get over the fact. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. What was the thing that my father would not stop about? Look, my dad's great. He's amazing. He's always supportive of me in a lot of things. But it was just like, in a time where I'm at my lowest, this is not ideal. Because not only then, but if you don't know, usually surgeries, they have you scheduled to get there early. So, hey, if you've never had a surgery before and you plan on getting one, I hope you're a morning person, or just don't sleep, because you're going to sleep with the anesthesia. But I'm not an early person. Ever since getting my surgery now, I feel like that's kind of changed, because medicine sometimes would knock me out, so I kind of got stuck on that rhythm now. But basically, you have to get there really, really early. I think it was, I say really early, as somebody who would wake up 30 minutes before stream. We had to be there at like 5, 6-ish kind of ideas, so they can get me, either get me ready and everything. My actual surgery wasn't scheduled till like 9. Up this lady is a literal anesthesiologist, a doctor. Yeah, look, I'm a little intimidated, okay? And I'm also trying not to freak out about the fact that my fears are currently inside of my body. But, I just smacked the microphone, sorry. So, you have to get there early. So, you think I cared about how anything, I was in my head. I was panicked about the surgery. I think I kind of talked about it, that in the late night stream that I did, literally the night before my surgery. But I was stressing about it, and it was on my mind. It was kind of eating at me. So when I left to go get the surgery, because of course I couldn't be alone, because I had to make sure I had somebody who would be there in case I had complications or anything. Or I forgot what was the other reason they said. I had to have somebody with me, basically what they said. So when I went to get ready to go, I didn't sleep really, so I had these bags under my eyes. You think I would do any makeup or really do my hair the way I would usually do? No. So if you don't know, for stream, I usually have all my hair just pulled all the way back off of my face, so of course the tracking is more accurate and stuff. So my hair was still the same way because I had stream that night. Yeah. I was wearing the most baggiest shirt. I swear that shirt had like a bleach stain on it that I was just trying not to think of. I forgot. I just pulled out. I was like, well, I was trying to also think. I was like, if I gotta go home, I gotta make sure I have like clothes to change into. So I found like the baggiest things I've had, which is like the oldest clothes that I have. So it was like the baggiest of that, baggiest pants, because usually hospitals are cold. So I was like, oh, if we're in the waiting room, I don't want to be cold, so I'll put some pants on. And it was really windy, so basically, I didn't get ready. The most I did was brush my teeth. So, no, you think I am any way gonna be like, hey, doctor. Well, I'm currently deathly afraid and anxious and trying not to throw up because of how stressed I am and how sleep deprived I am. About to get hip surgery that makes me feel like a super old lady. Well, my parents are literally sitting next to me. My dad cheering in the corner and my mother just dumbfounded. I just, I had heart surgery myself. Ooh, that's a rough one. I'm glad everything went well for that. Those are always a little spooky. Despite all that, what makes her more of a keeper? I was just thinking she felt bad. I just thought, poor. Look, I always get. Okay, I need to talk about what happened. I forgot too, and I think I blocked it from my memory just as much as I blocked this from my memory. So, usually you have like somebody who goes over the insurance, consent forms, and all that stuff, right? So that happened in the beginning. Kind of reason why they get you there earlier. Partly. There's a lot of other reason why. But I had to go through this lady. And she asked me, little miss, where are your parents? Wait, I need to have them as your legal guardian for, also go over these consent forms. Granted, this lady was much, much older. I was just like, oh, she thinks I'm a child. Sure enough, I was like, ma'am, you can see my ID right there. So she looked at my ID again and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were 15. It's like, she's like, whatever you're doing, keep it up. And I was like, God damn it. Here I am in surgery, and I think I'm 15. What's probably not helping is that there I am just clenching my fists because I'm stressed and I want to grab something to squeeze. Damn it. And then later on, I have this anesthesiologist who's eyeballing my lips. So I'm like, this doesn't make me feel good. I just got called a child earlier. My self-esteem is as low as possible. But it was an interesting beginning. So the worst part about it is, of course, it's cold, right? I'm anxious. And I had somebody who came in with me as well, who's also gonna get surgery. So they were put next to me and what separates us is a curtain, right? This poor older man had respiratory issues, which is like your breathing and stuff, right? And all sorts of other issues. So they were attending to him first, and even the nurse was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I understand. Go through that. I'm just gonna lay here freaking out with the IV in my arm for a second. And so they were having all sorts of things, and I was just hearing like this coughing and all this next to me. So that, of course, I was like, oh God, I have to go pee. But I had the IV in me. Let me tell you how bad my fear of stuff inside of me is. My arm, I'm just have it straight laid out. I will not bend my arm. I will not use my hand. To me, it is now a useless limb that has something in it that shouldn't have anything in it. That is just how powerful my fear of these things are, is that I refuse to use that hand for anything, that arm for anything. I have to go to the restroom, but I already have the IV tube in me. They're already giving me stuff in it, so I'm already hooked up to the machine. So I have to disconnect it from the wall so that I can grab it and use the pole and go figure out where the bathroom is while I have this robe on and all the nurses are focusing on. I was like, I don't know where the restroom is. Hello, welcome. So I had this whole moment, and I'm still freaking out about this, right? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I have to go use the restroom. I don't know where it is. I don't know where everybody, well, I know where everybody is, but no way in hell am I gonna go in there and be like, excuse me, I know you're having issues in there, little old me needs to go use the restroom. But I'm also freaking out about my arm and trying not to think about, everything. But yeah. So finally, one of the nurses came out and she saw me. She's like, oh, what's wrong? And thank goodness, knowing some medical stuff, I knew how to safely take it off from the wall and be able to walk around with it. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, little old me needs restroom. And she's like, oh, it's just over there. I looked to see where it is, and it was in the opposite direction that I was walking. So I was like, oh, okay. What happens here? I talk about my adventures of recovering from a major surgery for now. But so I go to restroom with the pole, with my arm just limp on the side, and I'm sure the nurse is looking at me like, wouldn't it be easier to carry the pole with that arm instead of, this long IV tube? I had this IV tube literally on the back of my neck because it was long, right? So I can't let it dangle to the floor and accidentally step on it, and then we have a bigger issue. So there I am just holding it and like figuring out and doing this the most complicated way possible because my arm to me is dead. Make it to the restroom, go there, and I'm like, so the thing is that the pole could not fit under the door to get into the restroom. I couldn't believe it. So I decided, okay, I'll leave the pole out. I'll just grab the bag off and carry this in with me. So I, try not to freak out about it and think about it and just, open it, the door, then walk in, and thankfully they, I guess somebody's had complaints about that they can't fit the pole in there, so not much you can really do to a building that's already made. They decided to add hooks near the toilet to where you could stick the bag on there. So I did that, unraveled the thing so it could stretch and use the restroom. Then I was thinking about, wait a second, I can't grab the thing yet because I have to go wash my hands. But is the IV line long enough? Oh! There I am inching slowly over to the sink, and I'm like, I can do this. Like I said, my arm is limp in my mind. I'm not thinking about the IV tube in my arm. Just nothing. So there I am. Thankfully it reaches, but like just a little bit it reaches. So there I am, turn on the water. I have never felt hotter water come from a faucet before. It was on fire. And I was just thinking in my head, don't jerk your hands because you might pull the IV tube. Do not jerk your hands. It was painful. You sound like a kid. I'm still trying to get over being sick, so it might be a little sound of that. Ugh. But hey, it was fine. Scorched hands and all. I got the bag back, stuck it back on the pole, went on back, laid back down, and I was like, we're good. maybe request a bedpan up front. Well, the thing was that this was before I got my surgery. This all happened before I got my surgery. So I was like, I'm fine. It's fine. It's all good. I don't need a bedpan because I can walk still. And to be honest, at the time, I was like, I don't know how I would operate a bedpan because, I mean, I've never had one before. Except after my surgery. Bedpan was my life for about a whole day until I was finally able to get up. But yeah. Injured just for fun. I mean, I technically am injured right now, just not in my hands. That's just me on here, but my hip is. Surgery from what? I had hip surgery. I have hip dysplasia. It's alright. It was a success. It's all good. I'm back. I am officially somewhat back for stream. I still have to go through physical therapy. And then we get to do this all over again in June. That's like the thing that kept going through my head. It's like all like I'm so happy with recovering. Like I feel so much better and I'm so happy about that. But then in my head, like in the back of my mind, I think I have to go through all of that again. But at least I know what to expect now. And I at least I feel to properly stab in another nurse. God. Like, I hear, like, of course people have different conditions, right? I have a problem, which doesn't help my issue of being afraid of things inside of my body, is, my veins are really small. I have small veins, so you kind of have to, like, to get a bigger needle and to stick it in is a little more challenging because of the size of my veins. You can make it collapse or just blow it, so it just doesn't work. So you have to be a little bit careful. Sounds like it would be a Steam achievement. God, adventures, you know, like, I wish I could tell you, like, normal events that happen in surgery. This was probably... Actually, oh my god, I didn't even tell you guys what the greatest part of this was. I will say it in a second, but real quick. So, that's kind of like the issue. And so they have to find pretty good veins. And I have good veins in my hands. But like I said, I have a huge fear of needles and things inside of my body that are not supposed to be there. So, thankfully, the nurse I had, she was really great. And she understood my fear. I just told her, I was like, look, I will not pass out on you. I will not move. But I may cry. And I will not speak. But don't worry, I will not pass out. It's just, for some reason, my brain locks up and does not want to communicate, nothing. But I am fine. I will not pass out. So, she was great. She went for the ones in my arms that I'm already used to. And she was able to get it. But sadly, I don't see that vein anymore. So, I don't think that we'll be able to use next time. So, I'm hoping my other arm builds up a little. But, yeah. And so, veins can be really, really hard sometimes to have to get. And it did take, like, of course you have different people, right? Some people you say have heavy hands or have a lighter hand, so where you can't really feel it sometimes, and some people with the heavy hands are a little bit harder. And they call you, what they say for people that are hard to find a vein for, they call you a hard stick, because it's hard to stick the needle in you and figure out where, and like, of course, they'll go from your arms to your hands. Your legs and feet are usually the last ones. You probably might wonder, like, hey, I have a really good vein, like, on my leg. But they don't like to do that because of risk for infections and stuff like that. So they'd rather try to go in your hands and your arms. And also just the idea of if you're going to have an IV in it, it's kind of also a different story. So the little stuff like that. But I had to be stuck multiple times, and just the nurse not knowing how to do it, that's concerning. That's that's a problem. I did mention the story one time where, so what happens when you stick an IV is you stick the needle in and what's left is the plastic tube, right? Not actually the needle left inside of you, which I know, it still freaks me out because of the tube. But when they stick it in, they're supposed to pull it straight out, right? So they keep the pressure on top so that it doesn't cause a massive bleed when they pull it out and leave the tube. But the issue is that they may lift it and pull it out. It is very painful to the patient and really stupid to do because you might accidentally hit the vein, you might push it too far, you're gonna blow the IV, all sorts of things. It's really, really, really dumb. I've had it once. And oh my god, that was extremely painful, and I think probably freaks me out even more every time. And I'm just thinking, I just watch their hands now to do it. And I was like, no. So, not great. Well, yeah. Whenever they have to take my blood. Because I'll pass out one way or another. Yeah, so for me, one time, originally, when I was getting blood drawn, I almost passed out. But then that's kind of how I learned, is not to talk to somebody while getting blood drawn. Because if I do, that's what kind of starts to make me panic and I will pass out. So I remember I used to have to lay down, but thankfully now I don't have to. But I do have to give them warnings. I'm like, look, it's fine. I'm not gonna do it. This is what to expect, and just don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. Well, yeah. Can't do it about anything. They gotta stab around a bunch deep. Oh, yeah, that's... Which is scary to think, right? Especially when, like, you're in emergency situations and they need that stuff. But even if you just need, like, simple things and stuff, like... Oh, hey! I finally figured out what my blood type is. I never knew what my blood type ever was. And so, of course, that was one of the things they had to know. So that's what they did, was to pull for some blood and check for that. I am an O positive. I had no idea. O positive. I'm actually the same as my father's. And when he found out, he's like, hey, I guess you are my kid. I was like, thanks, Dad. Even though I look like you a lot. Thanks, Dad. Hey, that's something I never knew my entire life. Until finally, I remember, like, the night nurse had come in, and I was like, hey, what blood type am I? He just looked at me like, oh, it's O positive. I was like, oh, neat. Universal donor. To the positives, technically. But usually in an emergency situation, they will sometimes use O positive if O negative is not. But O negative is a universal donor. Yeah, O negative is not O positive. O positive is used for more. Actually, it's used mostly for infants that don't know, of course, the blood types. And even if the potential for O negative, they still use it for infants a lot and stuff like that. And it's actually most commonly because of the positive side. So, hey, did not know that. Made me feel bad, though, because like I said, because of my fear of things inside of my body, I just cannot ever, the idea of anything to do with a needle is terrifying to me. Like, honestly, the idea of having to get my next surgery in June, that is the first thing that pops in my head is, God damn it, I have to get an IV again. So, I was like, dang it. I remember having the pick line in my arm removed. It'll hurt less. That was a lie. Ooh. So for me, I usually have to stare at it when they give it, but my mother was there and she's like, just look away, just look away, just look away. And she was so insistent on it. It was kind of strange. I was like, I have to look at it. And she's like, no, you don't want to see this one. And to be honest, it's because I've never had such a big gauge in my veins before. Usually I'd get away because, like I said, my veins are usually small, so they usually will do like what they call a butterfly, is the smallest. But this one, I think, was at a 16 gauge, I think, which is a pretty big needle. It left a hole in my arm when they took it out because it's pretty big. So that's why my mother was like, "You don't want to see it." It's like, I see. And usually they do it bigger because one, for usually the IV tubing, but also because it'll get, either if they're drawing blood, it'll draw blood faster, or it can inject medicine faster if it's bigger. Maybe think of it like a tube, right? You have a skinny tube, stick the thing through it, and it takes longer than the one that's a bigger tube. So that was essentially what happened. And I was like, oh God. And it was painful because, okay, look, I got hair on my arms. And what do they do when they stick an IV? They like to, clamp it down with some tape. I don't know why. This is one of my problems with the nurse I think I had. She did not use an alcohol swab to, like, underneath slowly peel. As you can see, I have a hair on my arms. That was painful. That was so painful. And I think what was the thought in my head is just like, oh no, that tube is being moved in my arm. It's being moved with the tape because I could see it coming up and down. Oh no. And that was honestly the thing that was freaking me out the most. It's just the tube continuously moving. It's like, It was, look, alright, it's tubing in the arm is just, like, my fear of things inside my body, it's pretty extreme. And the thing is, like, I try to be good about it. I do. I try to not freak out about it as much. But then when it really comes down to it, like, in that moment, I just look at them and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I know I'm a big baby. I'm sorry. But, yeah. So, hey, that was my adventure and all of that. Oh, to mind you, all of the bathroom stuff that happened, all of that happened before the anesthesiologist came back. So, I was already freaking out about the fact that I was kind of extending the tube and all the things and being very careful of not freaking out of what if I pull out the tubing in my arm and all of that scene. And then that's when the anesthesiologist went in and then all of that happened. So, look, I was scared. I was spooked, okay? I was terrified. Oh, and then the big thing that happened is one of the nurses that came in, she's like, because she saw how, like, I was, like, scared. And so she's like, have you ever had surgery before? I was like, nope, never had surgery. And she's like, oh, you're either go big or go home, huh? Mind you, at that time, I didn't quite realize how major my surgery was, how difficult my surgery was. So in my head, when I heard that, I was like, what does she mean? What is that supposed to mean? Oh, I don't understand. What is that supposed to mean? And then afterwards, when I was recovering, I remember turning to my dad and being like, I understand now what that nurse meant. I was like, I get it now. It makes sense. Go big or go home. I see. She was telling me, you just chose probably one of the worst possible ones to recover from, didn't you? It wasn't my choice. It wasn't. But anyways, that was my adventure. And I hope nothing adventurous happens in my next one. It shouldn't, because in my head I'm thinking I've already had this, right? So I know now what to expect. All that. I'm scared about it. Nothing about it. Yes, I don't think she should have said that. But in my head, like, I didn't understand it. I was like, I think she probably thought I knew how major the surgery was. But in my head, I didn't. I don't know why. I really can't tell you why I didn't think. I think it was one of those, like, nah, nothing big ever happens to me. Like, I hear those stories of people, like, crack their skulls and all that. Like, that's not, nothing big ever happens to me. It's fine. And not fine is what it was. I'm gonna die. But hey, you know what? I'm here now. We made it. I'm good. And everything's great now. So, hooray for me! Hooray! That was the adventures of Fatum and her 100% definitely not so big adventures in the hospital. Oh, we also played Resident Evil at the hospital. I forgot about that. Remember I told you that my father had said that we would play it together while I was recovering? I didn't know he quite meant in the hospital while I was recovering. Because I wouldn't sleep when it come late at night. Like, I would not sleep, and I think it was because I was sleeping kind of, like, intermittently and still thrown off by the anesthesia. So, it's, like, late at night, and we just, and we had my laptop, so he just put the laptop there, and he had the controller, and he would just play it. And I would be there watching him playing it, and telling him about the different things to grab, and what kind of to do, and stuff like that. So, it was kind of funny because I remember the night nurse coming in and she was just checking on everything and seeing how I was doing and giving me my medicines. And she was just watching. She's like, "Are you guys playing Resident Evil?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've seen a lot of patients doing a lot of different things." She's like, "But I don't think I've ever seen somebody just enjoying a scary game late at night and all that." She's like, "All right. You guys have fun." It's like, well, come on. I gotta. So, hey, it was some good times. Hello, welcome. Or yes, welcome back. Hello, hello. So you're right, yeah. I want to thank you. I thank you to everybody with your messages. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Be all good. Just the first the first half, absolutely anxious, get called a child, freaking out about IV, having issues trying to go to the bathroom while having said IV in arm, anesthesiologist is staring at my lips, my father is trying to be a wingman while I'm still panicking. Nurse says I decided to choose a very big surgery for my first one. Like I had a choice. And then yeah, finally got into the surgery and all that happens. That is an adventure. And I finished my one Gatorade. Ooh, there's another Gatorade here. I did not bring this Gatorade. I don't know how this Gatorade ended up here. Maybe one of the people that were visiting. Is it open? No, it isn't. I will take it. It's mine now. Had my head open a few times. See, as someone who has a mother that is, well, and I am an only child, and my mother is very knowledgeable in the medical field, so, you know, I was very much a child that very rarely had big injuries and stuff. I was just also not outdoors a lot. The times I were outdoors, I banged my head really hard where it made a bump, so we were afraid of a concussion, and I literally tore up my knee into ground meat, but it was fine. So I've never had like a broken bone or any of that stuff. And of course I had to have this. I think that was like the thing I couldn't get over. I was like, here I was. I'd made it so far in my life doing such careful things and being careful and not needing all this and going to the ERs and such. That'd be great. And now, not by my own anything that I've done, I have to get this done. That's so horrible. I think like the worst part about it was just like I had to keep my leg straight. I couldn't bend it because the minute I bend it, it'd bleed everywhere. But I just remember that I had they couldn't stitch it because I just ground it up so bad that there was no stitching. But I didn't damage my bone, so just my skin. Now I have a weird scar there. But it's fine. This is worse. It'd be funny, it'd be like you see the scar on my knee and you're like, oh my god, that's terrible. And then you see the scar now from my hip surgery and be like, oh, not that bad. I can tell you which one was worse. I can tell you that very easily. Stuck. I could change the channel. Hearing the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme, that sucks. That triggered up. Oh my god, that would upset me. That would definitely upset me. No, I would never turn on like I said, probably my only source of entertainment that I actually would be the Resident Evil. And even then, we didn't get so far. I think we only made it to we didn't finish up Grace's area in the hospital area, so we were still in that part. So we didn't make it too terribly far, but I couldn't do any like turn on the TV. I don't know why. I think I was just so out of it, and I think it would irritate me of just having noise like that. Oh yeah, 2 hours. I know we are for 2 hours. I actually feel pretty good, but I probably should be wrapping it up soon so I don't push myself too much, and we can have a stream tomorrow. Well, yeah. That's a battle scar. Tis but a flesh wound. I remember, because it has, so, it's kind of interesting. The stitches are on the inside of the incision, and it's not on the outside, which, thank goodness, if they were on the outside and I had to get the stitches removed, that is one of my other biggest fears, which thank goodness I have not had to do, but it is a fear. But yeah, so I thought when I went to see the doctor that because I had like a huge patch over it, and then they said that I had some tape that was over it, and then that's where the incision is. And so when I went to leave the hospital, they took off the bandage part. And then they said that I would just leave the tape on for now, and as time progressed, it would peel off, but if not, then in the doctor's visit, they'd take it off. So when we went to go see the doctor, I was getting myself prepared. I'm like, okay. I was kind of scared that they were going to take it off, because, I mean, having tape over your incision, I was like, oh god, it's going to hurt. I was just relating it to the IVs and everything, but, you know, those were hairs that hurt. So I was kind of thinking that in the same way that, oh no, they're going to take it off. And he's like, nah, we'll leave it on. So it's like a cleaner scar when it heals. So it doesn't stretch out in any way when you're going through your physical therapy. So there I was, just sitting there like, I was so nervous for this doctor's appointment because of that. God dang it. I was so stressed about it and everything. And I was like, and it's not till, okay. All right, thank you, doctor. Yes, I'm the type of just get it over with and don't let me dread it. Because the more I have to dread it and the more you push it, the more it's like, oh, it's coming, it's coming. But thankfully, it's actually kind of been starting to fall off on its own. So I guess with shower, because it's a waterproof for the amount of time that it needed to stay on, but they said that it's fine if it starts peeling off, as long as of course the wound isn't oozing anything or bleeding some more or anything like that, it's fine. So that's what's good. It actually did not ooze anything, which is pretty neat. The doctor said that I had actually pretty good healing, really good healing. So yay. too bad I just freak out about the things that are inside of me. But anyways. There's the people checking up on me. Okay. Good. I said I have to keep that on just just so I don't freak people out. But yeah. He's got young cells. I guess so. The doctor was kind of surprised. He was like, "You healed pretty fast." So I'm hoping my bones are doing the same. They do feel like it. Like even now, like I can lift my leg pretty good. I can move it around. I've been moving it around this entire time. And that's the freakiest thing, I will tell you. He said, you can move your leg in any position. That like it couldn't be one, like from the minute I was done with the surgery, that's what he had said. He's like, you can move it in any position. You have nothing to worry about. I was like, what? He's just like, just depends on what you can tolerate. What do you mean by that? I understand what he means by that because different positions hurt a lot. It's like, I get it now. But yeah, that you can just move it. I thought that was pretty cool. You don't have to be like, oh, you have to keep it straight and make sure you don't move your leg in and out or anything like that. But it's the freakiest thing. Music intensifies. It was perfect timing. Call me 23. See if there are any comic nerds there. The problem is if somebody's gonna ask me and I'll be like, I don't even know what that is. I was just told. But yeah, so I was pretty happy about that. But anyways. So I think I just got told right now when my physical therapy will be. Let me check real quick. Okay. So apparently my physical therapy is on Friday in the afternoon. So I don't know if I'll be able to stream because I don't know how far it is. Maybe I'll try to do at least maybe an hour stream or something. We'll see. I doubt I'll be okay afterwards to come back to stream. So basically, I think tomorrow I will probably set up my first reaction stream. We'll kind of test out having a little bit more something to interact with instead of just, sitting here talking. Like I said, this doesn't expend too much energy for me. So the other stuff usually does. So we'll try that out. We'll see how that ends up going. And then I will kind of try to be keeping things one after the other and everything and kind of see how back-to-back streams are going to be. Right now, Thursdays are not off of thing because, like I said, I still can't drive and go around to places. That's not going to be for a while. So there really is no off days officially that something's going to restrict me other than my physical therapy. And of course, how much I think I need to be able to have energy to, of course, still carry myself throughout the rest of the day, whether I need to get a drink, food, or anything like that. So I'll try to gauge it all from there. So just do be aware that yes, I am back to stream, but I am not officially back for everything to be completely back to normal. So kind of do be aware of that. But definitely I could say tomorrow I'll have it scheduled up. We'll be doing a reaction stream, reacting to it, and then we'll see from there. So yeah, I think that'll be the plan. Maybe I'll try to update the schedule here and everything. I got some other stuff that I gotta see if I can try to do for today's stream. I mean, for streaming later on and stuff. So we'll see how that ends up going. But no stream probably on Friday. I'll see if I can do anything beforehand. But I might want to save my energy for physical therapy. I have a feeling they're going to kick my butt. I feel like I can get around easy, so I'm like, I can walk and all this stuff. What's the worst they're gonna do? Well, I think I'm asking for it. So yeah. So anyways, once again, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who has been patient or sending me wishes and everything and being understanding of all of the stuff. So I really do appreciate it. It really does mean a lot. I'm glad to have such a community, so thank you guys so much for that. Just hang in there for a little longer for me. If you've been anxious to see some more video game stuff, especially if you've been watching the gotchas things, I know the updates have come out and stuff, but I don't not think I'm quite there yet. Maybe next week. I think maybe I might be a little bit better. As the weeks have gone on, I've surprised even myself of just how quickly I feel like I can get back into things. Now that this cold's finally going away, damn it, of course. Right. Could I just have a nice recovery, could I? But anyways, though. Anyways. So, huge thank you to everybody. Really do appreciate it. So, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to everybody else as well. I'll close this off so I can get to the other things and then go back to laying down again, getting some more rest. So, thank you to Jinx for being here. Thank you to Boss Muffin. Thank you to Fox. Thank you to Limited. Thank you to Nako. Thank you to GT. Thank you to Sanchez Moises. And I think that's about as far as I could see. Oh, thank you to SOS as well. Thank you. Did I say Boss Muffin? I'll say Boss Muffin again. And Fox. Now I don't remember. Dang it. But yeah, so put me in the corner. Dang it. But yeah, but thank you guys so very much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to those who were previously here beforehand. Thank you to many lurkers. Thank you to my mods as well. Damn it, I forgot about all of this pushing. But also, thank you to those that do help support the membership. Through the membership of Cultaroach, I really do appreciate the support. I do apologize for this month not having really much of anything. I know we had that. It's fine. Having that little bit of spookiness and everything. So, why? But yeah. So I appreciate it a lot, so thank you. But hopefully definitely in April I will make it up for that, and also like I said, we'll have a makeup one in May and then also normal one that we usually would have for May. So just a reminder for that. I apologize again, but thank you guys so much for understanding and everything. So thank you. But also thank you to those that are part of the Tier 3 membership, or Believest, being Rave, EH, Downmaster, and Nathan Citron. Thank you guys so much for your help and support. It really does mean a lot, so thank you. Also, just a reminder, if you are part of the membership, there is a stream that I would really recommend checking out that is members only, the most recent one. You still have time for some decisions over there that actually will affect different things for the channel. So I recommend, if you haven't had a chance to, go check it out. You don't have to be any specific tier. All tiers are allowed to go see it. So go check it out if you haven't, and put your response in the comments there, so I can gather as much as possible and make decisions from there. So yeah. But anyways, my brain is weird. Anyways, guys, I'm just glad to be back. So thank you all so very much. I've missed this, and hopefully we'll have some good times tomorrow. Just a reminder, tomorrow is a reaction stream, so you'll see it soon. I'll schedule it and you'll see what it's about. But dang it. Anyways, there you go. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. All but do not fumble the anesthesia. Why? No! Hey, look. I really I was at my lowest. Bye.